With the second pick in the 2008 NBA Draft, the Miami Heat select Micheal Beasley from Kansas State University.
And this means that freshmen have now gone 1-2 in the NBA Draft for the second straight year, and it's also the only 2 times in NBA history this has happened. Beasley, a unanimous first-team All-American.
Brings it up. Beasley checks the clock and Evo. He got it!
This is what they like about Beasley and played this role for the last few years. So it's a little different look for the Heat.
Ball movement by the Heat. Beasley on the drive.
The name Micheal Beasley is not unknown to the world of professional basketball. Known as one of the greatest young talents to ever come across the game, Micheal Beasley was once compared to legends like Derrick Rose and Kevin Durant. Back in 2008, Beasley was such a great player that the Chicago Bulls were confused between drafting him or Derrick Rose. Although that dream did not come true for him, he was immediately picked by the Heat, and that made all the difference for his career.
7 points a game and almost 4.5 rebounds in all.
13 points, the 15 points that he gave up in that first quarter is the lowest this year by a Heat opponent in the first quarter.
Growing up, Beasley and Kevin Durant shared a strong friendship. From growing up together to playing high school and college-level basketball, the duo was inseparable and they dominated the sport in their early days. They were so good at the game that the New York Times covered them both and even suggested that Beasley just might be better than Durant. However, something drastically changed for Beasley, and today he is remembered as nothing but a talent that died down gradually. The question is, where exactly did it go wrong for him? We all know about the early rumors that spread, claiming that Micheal Beasley began indulging in drugs at a young, immature age. Although that is true to some extent and his decisions at a young age did play a part, the true reasons behind his downfall are far deeper than what you might imagine. But before we get into it, let's talk about his childhood days and how he grew up to be an amazing talent in the world of basketball. Beasley grew up with Kevin Durant, and their friendship took off when the duo met at a basketball court during practice. Beasley was a mere 11-year-old child back then, and the fondest memory of him with Durant is when he stole a whole pizza after practice and went home by himself.
Is it true that the first time you met Micheal Beasley at 11 years old that he stole your pizza?
Yeah, we had practice. That was a funny story. We had practice at the rec center, and first time we all ever met Mike. He's not from our side of town. He's from like 5 or 10 minutes down the road, and you know that's a long ways away if you're living in that area. So he came on our side of town, and we had practice, and we knew he was taller than everybody. He was going to grow into a great player. So we ordered pizza for the whole team, and after practice we were all looking forward to it. And he had to leave early, I guess, like 10 minutes early. And we came out and all the pizza was gone, and we looked out the door. He was jumping in the car, and he was like, he had a pizza slice in his hand, and we kind of put 2 and 2 together, and that was our first impression of Mike. And we knew we had to deal with a load on our hands after that.
For years, everyone remembered this as a funny moment, but in reality, it hinted at a deeper issue that Beasley faced. He grew up in a house with 5 siblings, and only had his mother as the breadwinner of the house. His dad had left him and his family at an early age, and due to the problems at home, Beasley regularly got into trouble at school. Things got so bad that in just a period of 5 years, he had changed 7 different schools. But despite these problems in his childhood, his basketball skills were impeccable from the beginning. During his middle school, he played for the Oak Hill Academy, and then stepped up the ladder to reach Notre Dame Prep. This was the opportunity of a lifetime for him, and he took full advantage of it. Beasley emerged as the #1 recruit out of Notre Dame Prep, and he later enrolled in Kansas State for college. But going to Kansas State was not entirely his choice. Several years into his troubled career, it was revealed that Kansas State recognized his talent and bribed him with money to come play for the Wildcats. When this news broke out, a huge scandal was discovered, but it did not matter anymore. He was out of college and well into his professional career. In college, Beasley played aggressively and fiercely. His style was unmatched and everybody loved him, including the NBA teams. However, during March Madness, Beasley was overshadowed by Derrick Rose and the legendary Stephen Curry, and this made a huge dent in his career. Surprisingly, the Miami Heat saw something special in him and drafted him with the #2 pick in 2008. But the real reasons behind him being drafted were quite different. Shaq was gone, Dwayne Wade was seriously injured, and after winning 15 games, the Miami Heat got the #2 pick and they selected Beasley. Nevertheless, this presented Beasley with another great opportunity to get his life straight, make a career out of basketball, and become one of the greatest of all time. But Beasley's discipline issues always got the best of him. He struggled to stay focused on the game, and instead, he started spending more time on unhealthy adventures, including the use of recreational drugs. At the Rookie Transition Program, a program that many college players dream of becoming part of, Beasley was caught smoking marijuana. This was the first time his bad habits affected him dearly, and he was sent to rehab. Moreover, this caused major problems for the Miami Heat team because they could not afford to have such a player on their team. When he was caught, the Miami Heat were fined $50,000, and Pat Riley quickly regretted drafting him. When he came out, his NBA career was drastically affected, and he was traded from the Miami Heat to the Timberwolves. Pat Riley knew that it was time to give up on him because Beasley did not quit smoking. However, his trade to the Timberwolves came with a pleasant surprise, although a short-lived one. To everyone's surprise, Beasley started to take basketball seriously for once, and this was an indicator that rehab must have really changed him. He averaged 19 points and 6 rebounds per game back then, and the promise he showed raised hope for him. But trouble always lurked in the shadow behind him. No matter what he did, he always managed to get himself into massive problems, and all of them directly threatened his career. In 2011, Beasley was arrested for possession of marijuana, and soon afterward, the Kansas State scandal was also revealed to the public. Everyone's perception of Beasley dramatically changed for the worse, and he turned into a bad guy well before he could become a professional basketball player. This arrest changed everything for him, and it became clear that he was just too immature to become a professional right now. His actions were questionable, his attraction towards unhealthy activities, especially drugs, was something intolerable for the NBA teams, and all in all, he was just not the kind of player that NBA teams were looking for. In the offseason, a video of Beasley also went viral all over social media, where he was seen pushing a fan in the face. This also worsened things for him because being associated with drug use, assault on fans, and just being immature overall was too much for any team to consider him a worthy draft. Nevertheless, the Phoenix Suns accepted his trade-in from the Timberwolves after the Kansas scandal and the arrest. But again, Beasley got into more trouble immediately, and this time, the matters were far worse than ever before. A sexual assault case against him was filed, and everyone, including Beasley, knew that this was the end of his career and any hopes of him ever being a praiseworthy name in the NBA. Yet his unworldly talent on the basketball court continued to give him more chances. Beasley spent 6 more years with different NBA teams. He even played for 2 Chinese teams, including the Shanghai Sharks. But it seemed that he was only good enough for a short period because more trouble always found its way back to him. At one point, while playing for the Lakers, Beasley was so detached and unhinged that he walked into a game wearing the wrong shorts. This was evidence that Beasley was not just immature, but his problems were far more deep-rooted than anyone ever imagined. But what exactly were those problems? What demons was he fighting on his own which completely ruined his chances at having a promising NBA career? In a recent interview, Beasley finally came out with the truth and explained the personal issues he dealt with throughout his life. He said that the biggest issue he dealt with was his mother's sudden demise while he was playing for the Lakers. Beasley just could not bear the pain, and everything around him began crumbling. He also revealed that the day he walked into the stadium with the wrong shorts on, his cousin had passed away, and he was trying to deal with that. Throughout his career, he kept all of these internal struggles private, battling with every problem on his own. He emotionally expressed how the world labeled him as a comic figure while he was just trying to find his way into the light, trying his best to perform well and stay out of trouble. All he wanted was to not let his teammates down, but the massive losses he dealt with and the childhood troubles that traumatized him always got the best of him. Today, he is still trying to mend his ways and is hopeful that he will make the NBA once again. He is supporting his family with whatever he earned during his career, and the only thing standing between him and a shockingly good career in the NBA is an opportunity. It's unlikely we will see Micheal Beasley on the court soon because of his age and past. But if we do, hopefully we see him in his full glory.